Nice fish.
This is a good fish. Keep that rod high now. Keep that rod high. You got to get that fish away from
him off the bottom.
structure.
And one thing I'm not going to do is I'm not going to pump this rod. I'm just going to work him in nice and steady.
That looks like a nice fish.
Oh, he felt good at first. And you know what, Rich? I might be on your rig. Oh, no, it's a good-looking fish.
That's a good job. That's a good-looking fish right there. Oh, that's a pretty fish.
Oh, yeah.
Awesome job.
Watching Northeast Angling. We're proud to present inshore and offshore saltwater fishing. We cover every species from fluke and porgies to stripers, sharks, and tuna. You can learn more about techniques, tackle, and destinations at neangling.com. Now sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
We're going to get right on a high spot right now. Just coming up to it now. Al, you want to get ready with that stern anchor?
You got it, sir.
I'll let you know when to drop that. She's away. And what's good is we're going to put an anchor on each side of this hump that we're fishing. So the anchor shouldn't have a problem digging in. I got the high spot right here now. You know, setting anchors is a headache for a lot of boaters. But what you want to make sure you do is when you let that line out, you want
that bottom.
Very little resistance. Now Andy's pulling up on that bow anchor. Al's letting out on that stern anchor. Give it some line out. Keep it tight, but let the line slide through your hands loosely. And every now and then, Al, just squeeze it and let it go. Squeeze it and let it go. How we doing there, Andy?
Yeah, we're doing good. The other thing this is going to let us do is later on, if we want to make fine adjustments on this piece, we'll be able to.
Bow's tight?
Bow's tight.
All right, guys, we're locked in. That stern anchor tight, Al?
Yes, sir.
We're not going anywhere. 37 feet, guys, right on top.
We got the end of the tide. We have some really beautiful conditions here. There's almost no wind at all.
We got our guest today is Alberto Nee.
Thank you for inviting me.
Al is a well-renowned black fisherman, supposedly a Sharpie. We're going to find that out today.
I guess so, huh? Let the rod do all the talking.
Well, I'm going to get my bait in before Al gets his down to the bottom.
No, mine's already in.
See if we can get something going here.
There we go.
Oh, there you go, Al. Fish on. That didn't take long.
No, not at all.
You know,
like I said, they're really snapping on these things.
We talked about Al being a local Sharpie. He might just be. Actually, I think I might let him just weed the small ones out of the way.
Fish here.
That's a nice looking fish.
Well, thank you. That's a nice female.
Guys, we got a net up top. If anybody needs it, if you feel like you got a good fish, give me a shout. I'll grab that net for you.
I got you.
I'm actually in a little piece of mud here. I got to get out of it. I got to find some bottom.
A nice female here, bud.
That's a nice fish.
There you go.
You got to be very careful around here, depending on where you're fishing.
Oh, there's a fish.
Oh.
Well, you know what, guys? I'm not going to sit here and watch
stay
it.
there, Rich.
No. We talked about how clicky these fish are. It's amazing.
No, you got the bottom there,
You could be
Rich. Why
5
stay
feet
there?
away from the bite and not get a fish. So guess what? I'm coming in.
Is that what they call mugging?
That's kind of something like that, yeah.
I just slipped over right to where Al was fishing, got on his piece, and I found the one small fish that he didn't seem to get to yet.
He might be thanking you for that.
You got to wrap that.
There you go. Good fish, Andy.
Fish.
That was nice.
I got my stroke now.
Get this rod out of the way for you here.
I'm getting a little better fish here.
Oh, I just got hammered, too.
Did you really?
Actually, I think I might have got touched by Andy's sinker on the way up.
Oh, yeah.
That's a good-looking fish, Andy.
Not a bad fish. I'll tell you, these fish may not be pretty, but they are scrappy and they taste great.
You know, we're not really, maybe we'll keep 1 or 2 for the well today. We'll see for the table tonight.
But I'm going to see some big guys. We'll let these little guys get back.
And for the most part, we're gonna release pretty much everything we catch today. Blackfish, I'll tell you, over the last couple of years, they've really come back pretty strong. And again, I would account that mostly to regulations. Wouldn't you agree, Al?
I totally agree. The new regulations where you have to, the summertime keep only one, but after October 1st in most states, you can keep 10. Here we go.
That's a good fish.
There we go.
What do you got there, Rich?
I got a tog. Oh, I got a tog.
Looks like we're seeing some nice fish come up here.
That's what I was looking for. You know, when you set the hook on these fish, Al, first thing you want to do, keep them high off the bottom, because you know once you set the hook, they're going to try to pound right back to where they came from.
I totally agree
with you. This is a nice fish.
Oh yeah, that is a good looking fish.
Take him right up.
Oh, you guys look, you both have very good fish. And I'm sitting here with nothing.
Nice fish. Way to go, Rich.
That's a pretty looking fish. What do you think, Andy? Nice big male. Yeah, it's about
got a male there?
About a
Yeah.
4.5, 5 pound fish.
What do you got over there?
They got me a female here, bud.
We'll put them back together. Maybe they'll stay with
Absolutely.
each other. Thank you, sir. Come again.
There you go. Look, pretty looking fish. There you go.
Happened again. Another one. Lifted it right off the bottom on me.
Good
Ooh,
going there,
that's
Rich.
a nice fish. There. Oh, pound down, baby. Now, I know I got him about 4 or 5 feet above the piece, so I'm not going to put too much pressure on him. You really don't want to reel these in too fast. Just a nice, steady, slow retrieve, and you keep pressure on the fish. You know, I'll tell you, pound for pound, you are not going to get too many fish that bite better than these. And there's no two ways about it. This
And they're
one,
probably one of the toughest fish to catch
a
right
little
now.
bit of rust in his back also.
Even though at the moment it doesn't quite seem like that. But, you know, we talk about getting into that good hot bite. This is one of those bites right now where we're getting really good, consistent action.
Here we go.
Basically getting down, and almost as soon as you get down there, there's fish here.
Well, this is what we were talking about.
got a
Now
nice
you
fish
got to
here,
take
bud.
advantage.
Another good fish. You're going to need a net on that?
For that fish?
I think so, Rich.
Looks like you might be struggling a little bit. Danny, I'm pass you that to him. Ready? Coming up and out. There you go. Got it?
A little better fish, Rich.
You got a net for you there, Al?
There you go. Thank you.
What you got there, bud? That's a
I
good
got
fish.
about a 5 pounder or so.
Oh.
Visit the Northeast Angling website at neangling.com for nationwide saltwater charter directory, fishing news, and free fishing reports. You can also find dozens of techniques, tips, and tackle for every saltwater species. Now let's get back to the action.
Absolutely.
Oh,
let me
that's a
bring
nice
this fish
fish,
in.
too.
Looks like a nice fish there, Andy.
Yeah.
I'm feeling left out here.
I have
I'm
a
gonna have to get a
feisty
bait
fish
to the
here.
water. To the bottom.
Oh, that's a good fish.
Nice fish. Nice looking fish, Al.
There we go.
Yeah.
Another good
Okay.
looking fish.
I think our
Very
fish
nice.
a little bit better than mine.
Very, very nice.
That's a pretty fish there, Andy.
You know, the other nice thing about these rigs, we got these fluoro leaders. You can just reach over and grab them, bring these fish in. Very nice.
Oh, there's one.
Okay.
I couldn't be left out, guys. I'm sorry. Oh, pound.
Don't worry about you there, Rich.
Well, you know, on the set, Al, I got that fish 3 or 4 feet off the bottom, so I know he couldn't take me back in. And then you just want to, you know, keep steady pressure on the fishing reel.
Yeah, that's such a good point. You get that initial hook, so get them off the bottom and just keep them down.
Pretty looking fish.
A yellow tap there, Al?
Hang in there 1 second.
Got him. Oh, nice. That was nice.
Oh, another one. There you go.
Oh, I blew the triple.
Oh, I tell you, these fish are so feisty, Al. You know that?
They are incredibly feisty.
Whoa, look at this. Nice.
Good job, Rich.
Thank you, Al.
Nice fish.
You know, these fish are solid, too. You see how fat these fish are, Al? I tell you,
What are
these
they
fish
feeding
are,
on, Rich?
They are on the feed.
Absolutely.
I was not losing this one, boy. I had him hooked good.
You know, this is another reason why we like that fall bite so much better.
That's a pretty fish. Look at that, Al. That's a nice looking fish.
Pretty fish there, Rich.
You know, another 16, 17-inch fish.
You know, I was talking about, we really get these good fall bites out here. These fish are concentrated on these pieces. It's not like in the spring when they're up in the shallows. Oh,
That was a bad swing.
swing and a miss.
Oh, there you go, Andy. Good job.
Oh, yeah.
Guys, this bite is on. You know, this is what we were talking about. You get that window when these fish really turn on, and you got to be on your game. You got to stay sharp, and you want to get a bait down to the bottom as quick as you can. It's almost like you're pulling off a piece, and another one just replaces right in this spot.
Really nice.
Speaking of that,
That's
what's
a good
going on with
looking
the
fish,
tide
isn't
there, Rich?
You know what? We're just coming into the slack tide now. We got the last of the out going.
I got a bite. Oh, another miss.
You know, you're talking to me. You should be paying attention there a little bit more.
No, that's very important. When it comes down to blackfishing, you really got to pay attention.
Especially when the bite's good. You know, sometimes you can get lulled into just getting sloppy. You know, the bite's slow and you're really not paying attention. But when the bite's good like this, you should be right on. This is what you're waiting for.
And this is, you know, talked about how you guys had that good bottom in front of you there. I got a little piece of bottom here I've been working now. I just had a little tap. But what's good is, like, you guys can watch each other miss fish. You can't see me when I swing.
I just saw that one out.
We can hear it a lot of times, though.
That's the wind. That's the wind. Look at this. He left me with one leg. Here's a nice one.
You got there, Rich?
You know, this don't feel too bad.
Right.
Oh, boy. Stay down there, buddy. Woohoo!
You know, we let Rich move to the other side.
Let me move. Gee, I had to
mistake there, Al.
I had to knock you guys over to get over here.
We had him just where we wanted him, and now
It feels like a nice
contender
fish.
The anchor line, pal.
I got him. We're good. Oh, yeah. Now, that's a nice fish right there. I'm going to swing that fish. Nah, I'll get him right off. Whoa, come to Papa.
Nice fish, Rich.
Yeah, that's a good-looking fish.
That's what we're looking for. Has the pool been shifted now?
Yes, definitely.
Maybe a little tiny?
No, I think it's close.
Hey,
Guys, it's too early, you know that.
As early as it may be, I will catch these fish all day long. That's a good-looking fish right there. Look at that. Pretty fish, ain't it? Man, I'll tell you, you look at the body style of these fish, they're just so strong. It's amazing. Like, you see when I set that hook? He just laid on the bottom. He didn't want to come off. Ugh.
Good job, Rich.
Thank you. What a beautiful day.
Oh,
Could not ask for better conditions.
days.
I'm telling you, this is
Absolutely.
just ideal.
You know, a lot of times when you plan these trips in the fall, you're hoping that you're going to get at least decent weather, fishable weather. Today we really lucked out.
I really think so. The past 3 days, it was raining and pouring, northeast, 35 knots or so. Rich?
I see it.
I got touched right away
Did you?
as soon as I got down.
There he is.
Book style.
Oh, another slob. Oh, you know what?
Another good fish?
Have these fish been here all along?
Okay. I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm watching you guys box each other out in the corner here. I'll tell you now, you guys can stay there. I'm very content where I am. That's a nice fish. Woohoo! Saber-tooth, look at the size of the chopper. There you go,
I heard
Andy.
that
That looks
drag.
nice. Another good-looking
What's wrong with
fish.
this picture, folks?
Oh, yeah.
Ah, box out the guy in the middle, Andy.
Well, like I said, it looks like he gets a bite. You shift on him from that side, I get him from this side. Well, this fish isn't like the one you just had, but he's not bad.
You know, I mean, this is, it doesn't get much better than this. It really doesn't. Here we go. Look, now, all right, can we call this up and down fishing now?
Absolutely.
I would
Are
say
you
so.
kidding me? Beautiful.
How's that fish, Al? Any good?
A keeper fish. Look how spicy they are. Unbelievable.
Wow, this is just, you know, I'll tell you, when it gets like this, I can't think of any other fish I'd rather be targeting right now than what we're doing right here, because this is just, it's great, it's fantastic.
Now, this is why you have some guys who are just like those devoted black fishermen, the blackfish fanatics. 'Cause they live for bites like this.
Yeah, and you know, if you stay patient, you work your areas, you keep an eye on your tides and your conditions, it's not uncommon to get into bites like this on a regular basis.
You know, one thing that's important to do is you really have to get familiar with the pieces of bottom that you've got with an easy reach, so that no matter what the conditions are, you want to have a couple of spots that are going to produce fish for you.
And there's a lot of days where you can fish on. One of the great things about the Long Island Sound in general is the
got there,
fact
Andy?
that you can get out of the wind in so many different places, you know, Andy?
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. This Connecticut shoreline's loaded with different spots where you can just, no matter almost what the breeze is, especially in the fall. There you go, you're off. Especially in the fall,
Oh, I just dropped one.
where a lot of times we have pretty much tons of northeast, northwest breezes.
This time of
Connecticut
season,
shoreline
yeah.
is just a lot of wonderful places to fish. Cool guy.
Visit the Northeast Angling YouTube channel for hundreds of videos, including full-length episodes, exciting clips, product reviews, and instructional videos. And now, the exciting conclusion of Northeast Angling.
We do a lot of ocean fishing off of Jersey for blackfish. You know, here we are in the Long Island Sound. What do you think the differences is between blackfishing on the North Shore as opposed to the South Shore?
Interesting. That's a very interesting question, Rich. Well, basically, you know, we're talking about a different habitat here.
Okay.
We talk about deeper water, different current, stronger current, and the bait is different. So
You use mostly hard baits, or generally what do you use on the South Shore more?
mostly hard bait like green crabs or calico crabs or white crabs.
The white crabs, I think those are the big stone crabs, right?
Absolutely.
I'm getting a little bit of
Oh, that was a bad bite.
bump there.
glad you noticed that for me.
And the soft baits, you use the soft baits in the fall at all, the clams, stuff like
The
that?
clams is good, usually around late May and early June.
So in the springtime mostly?
Correct.
Yeah, that's very similar to the south, to the North Shore here.
Yeah, because we do the same thing. In the fall, we've got a lot of other critters around, like porgies and sea bass and things like that. If you put those soft baits out there, you're going to get marauded. We also have a lot of brigals. In the spring, you don't have as much, and you can get away with the soft baits and get some really good bites going.
Oh, that's funny that you said that there's a lot of bulls, because generally on the soft shore, you get a lot of bulls too. You know, and that's why we go with hard bait.
Yeah, primarily a hard bait area.
Well, you know, everybody believes that, you know, in the spring, you want to use soft baits. I think it's more or less you can get away with soft baits more in the spring. It's definitely easier to set up on the fish. It's a lot easier to hook a fish when you have a soft bait on as opposed to a crab.
I agree with that. But at the same time, in the springtime, you want to downsize a bit too.
Yeah, but I think the hard baits work just as well in the spring. It's just that you don't have to contend with all the other things that are going to annoy you when you're fishing, such as the brigals and the small porgies and stuff like that.
Yeah, the brigals can be a real pest.
Yeah, and you know, you fish shallow in the spring too, because you got a big population of fish that are moving up on the beaches spawning.
Mm-hmm.
I know that one of the big problems when we fish in the spring is that the fish can be so spread out because there's just so much structure out there that the fish end up running into along these beaches. And another thing is, you know, those fish are spawning. We usually like to cut them a little bit of a break.
It's a better fish here, right?
There you go. You got a good one.
Oh, I just dropped them.
We've lost the tide a little bit here, and we talk about it all the time, how important tides are when blackfishing.
Yeah.
Now, I know you guys have, how do you feel about fishing close to the moon when you get those big, hard-running tides?
You know, in the majority of the areas you're going to fish, you're going to notice the bite really slows off when you get near or on the full moon. And on a new moon, for that matter, also. It's almost like, you know, maybe the presentation of your bait is not the same with that hard running tide, and the fish just seem to dig into the piece a little bit better, and they don't roam around as freely.
And then there are always exceptions, like if you find that right piece where the tide doesn't run quite as hard, that's a good spot to save for when you really got those big moon tides or get some real hard-running currents.
It's like when you get current in places that you normally wouldn't have current, just because of the extra current from the moon or from the full or the new.
You know, we're a few days off the moon now. We're 3 or 4 days off the moon, so we still have a pretty good tide. But we're right now, we fished like the last part of the outgoing. We're in the slack. It's starting to turn right now.
Yeah.
And we're going to probably have relatively soft running currents most of the time.
Yeah, we have actually just ideal conditions right now. I mean, we're fishing, like I said, with 6 ounces of lead. Yeah. And that's, you know, because we got really no wind to contend with. Mother Nature's definitely on our side today. And the currents, you know, it's going to rip eventually, but at this point in time, and we've been fishing 6s all morning.
I tell you, it's a blessing fishing with 6-ounce sinker. If you fish down the South Shore, you basically have to go 10, 12, 16 ounces.
That's off the moon sometimes,
oh,
too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you upsize your tackle as well at that point, Al? You know, we're using these rigs, which are basically, you know, 20, 40-pound rigs. You know, what do you go up to?
Well, definitely you want a stout rod, and this is perfect for the North Shore here. But on the South Shore, you want a little more meat to it.
Something a little stiffer.
A little stiffer, but only because you're fishing deeper too. 100 feet of water, you really need to feel that fish and really put the boot on these fish.
And I guess that since the advent of the braid, that's really given you guys a little extra advantage in that deeper water.
Correct.
You know, maybe before where you needed those really, really big sinkers, now you can get away with something that's a little more reasonable.
Absolutely.
That's a good point, guys. It's so true. You know, with the introduction to the braid, I mean, I still fish monofilament for a lot of different techniques and a lot of different methods of fishing, but I see such a big advantage when you're blackfishing with the braid, especially on sloppy days and days where, you know, they are finicky.
Well, there's a lot less water resistance as the current runs past it. Even in a hard-running current.
Yeah, that's another great point. Is you know, normally if you were fishing monofilament where you'd need a 10-ounce sinker, you can pretty much get away with an 8 with the braided line.
I got one breathing on me right now.
No,
There he goes. They're incredibly finicky right now. I know the water's slack right now, and they're very tough to get.
one of the things you can do to get these fish to bite when they're finicky is what Al's trying now. What Al did was downsize his bait. He's cracking the shell on his crab as we speak, maybe pulling off a few more legs and just giving a smaller presentation. The other thing you can do, Al, do you feel maybe you should wait a little bit longer before you strike now, seeing that they're a little bit finicky?
Yeah.
You don't want to hit on that first shot?
No, not at all. Right now, they're just grabbing the bait, spitting it out, and not committing at all. And the reason why I cracked the shell is because I get some juice going.
Some scent in the water, huh?
Absolutely.
I got you. Well, this is, you know, these are all things that are very important because, you know, when the bite is not as hot and heavy as it was earlier, and we talked about this, it's going to slow.
And you got to make it happen.
Yeah. And I think we really took full advantage of what went on. Andy, that was a strike, wasn't
That
it?
was a nice little touch, but I'm going to wait.
There you go.
Good
See, now that was
shot.
perfect. Like you said, you wanted to wait, and that's what you did, and
Good job, Andy.
you let that fish come to you. You let him eat. That was nice, Andy. Good job. Oh, I got a little
Once
player here
again,
now,
one
too.
of the things we want to do is when we're ready to puff these fish up, I'll bring them up nice and steady. Keep them under control.
You know, when you get that bite, you want to set the hook on that fish and then
Good
get that rod
job.
right under your left arm in one motion. And that was perfect. You know, like Al, you're already set where if you get that hit, you're under your left arm. But if you let go, there you go, like we were just saying. So I actually switched it to my left, but did it in one motion where it really didn't affect it too much. Wow. Oh, there we go.
I got a problem here, Rich. What's wrong with this picture here?
You know, I've seen this somewhere before. This looks very familiar to me. That was nice. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
But you want to know something else? In reality, anybody can hook the big ones. They're easy. They got a real big mouth. They bite a lot harder. Catching a fish that hard, that size, is just about harder than anything else you can do.
I just found a rock that Al was fishing on over here.
You mean my rock?
Yeah, I just found it. I wondered what was going on there. All of a sudden, I was like in Rich's mud patch off to the side.
Oh, I got away from that, Andy. You might be in trouble.
Oh, I've just shifted over a little bit. Al's fishing right over the motor now.
Thank you for watching Northeast Angling. You can learn more about techniques, tackle, and destinations as seen on this show at neangling.com. See you on the water.